Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden and welcome to day 22 of my 30-day garden transformation challenge. For the past 22 days, I've been making a commitment to spend time in my garden every single day. The goal isn't to complete huge projects or create overnight transformations. It's simply to show up, complete my daily garden routine, tackle one focused task, and leave my garden just a little more beautiful than it was the day before. Those little improvements are really starting to add up, and it's been so rewarding to watch the garden evolve one day at a time. Now let's get started with my daily routine. First up was watering my plant stash. Then I moved on to deadheading my beautiful white dahlia in the back garden. This dahlia is one of my favorites because it pairs so beautifully with just about every flower I use in bouquets. I've also been staying on top of removing any stems that start to flop over. Dahlias can get a little wild here in California, so a little maintenance helps keep them looking upright, tidy, and under control. While I was in this area, I spent a few minutes weeding both the planting beds and the pathway. It's amazing how much you can accomplish with just a few minutes of weeding each day. Little and often really does make a difference. Next, I moved on to fertilizing the annuals in my center island. This bed is filled with hungry plants like Supertunia Vista Fuchsia, African daisies, Supertunia Vista bubblegum, Augusta lavender heliotrope, Stardiva scavola, and more. And they all appreciate a regular dose of water-soluble fertilizer to keep the blooms coming all season long. Finally, it was time for today's planting, and I decided to plant this Plectranthus neochillis that Deb and I picked up at Curious Flora last week. She highly recommended it as an incredibly tough ground cover, and after reading the plant tag, I was sold. It's described as tough as nails, long-blooming, snail-resistant, and covered in flowers spring through fall. It stays about 12 inches tall and spreads up to 3 feet wide, making a great choice for filling in a sunny space. I have to admit though, I couldn't stop laughing when I was planting it because this plant has a very, shall we say, distinctive scent. The best way I can describe it is that it smells like someone has been smoking something funny. Seriously, Deb and I were cracking up on the drive home from the nursery because the whole car smelled like we'd been, shall I say, hotboxing it. If you've ever grown this plant before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, you guys, so it's day 22 of my 30-day challenge, and I have finished my daily routine, and now I'm going to move on to my focus garden task for the day. And you guys probably saw this from the thumbnail, but today's focus garden task is editing. That is one thing I have learned for this 30-day challenge, that editing is definitely a part of gardening. It's an important part of gardening. Instead of thinking, oh, I need to go to the garden center and buy something else. Oh, I have to add something. I need to spend more money. Sometimes a certain garden bed, all it needs is a little bit of editing, either a plant pruned or something trained or something even removed. And I used to feel really, really bad about removing plants, but you have to think our gardens are living, breathing things. Plants are growing constantly, and sometimes a plant is going to grow out of the space that you gave it initially, or it's not going to quite work in that space initially. And I know a lot of people have a lot of trouble editing, taking plants out, removing things, or transplanting things, but I really think it's key to have a really beautiful garden. So what my plan is today is I'm going to go around to different areas and I'm going to look at that area, and instead of thinking, what can I add to that garden bed, I want to think about what can I edit in that garden bed to really improve the look of that garden bed. And I'm going to start with this guy right behind me. So this little garden bed right here, this is kind of, I don't know, I've kind of thought of this as like a temporary garden bed because I really haven't really worked on the willow tree garden bed area over here. And I planted this Niagara Falls panicum around my Chinese pistache. Actually, I think I planted the panicum first and then I planted the Chinese pistache, and I just love that combination. I think it is so beautiful. There's something about these Niagara Falls panicums, the seed heads, the sun rises, and it just glows, and it is so, so beautiful. And then I planted some salvia in front of the panicums because they weren't that big. And then I planted the lantana down here. And I really like the lantana. And what I don't like anymore is I don't like this salvia back here. It blooms. It's really pretty. It's just too tight. Can you guys see how tight it is? And these Niagara Falls panicums have just grown like crazy. They are the coolest plant, and I don't want to get rid of them, and I don't want to divide them yet. And I don't really care about the salvia that I put in. They were just something that I found at the garden center. Just kind of threw it in as like an annual, and salvia comes back for us. So I think I'm just going to take the salvias out and just give this area a little bit more breathing room back here. You can see I have planted. I know I'm notorious for planting very, very tightly. I just like that look. That's the look I like in my garden. Very naturalistic, very overgrown, all that kind of stuff. But sometimes I recognize I need to edit it a little bit. And so that's what I'm going to do today. Let's get started with this garden bed, and let's pull out the salvia just to kind of give the panicum a little bit more breathing room. All right, done there. Monty, come here. Come here. You're in everybody. Nobody can see what I did. Good boy. So just kind of cleaned it up a little bit, gave it a little bit more breathing room. And I actually really like that because now I feel like my eye can focus on the bottle brush that's right there. And I think that will be beautiful when it's blooming, having that, because that's going to get a little bit bigger, that bottle brush. I forget exactly how tall it gets. I'll put it on the screen right now. But I think it looks really good. I think Monty lost a ball in there at some point because he is searching around in there like there's something to find. I don't know what is going on. What is it, bud? What is it? Is there something in there? Huh? Is there something living in there? Oh my goodness. Is it a ball or is it something else? Now I'm thinking it's something else, and that's making me nervous. Okay, let's just leave it. All right. Here it is from the other side, the Chinese pistache from the other side. You can see I have some plain the blue salvia over here. Oh my goodness. What is he doing? Plain the blue salvia over here. And then here is the pink bottle brush that's not blooming right now. And then from the back, you can see, the Seven Suns, the Heptacodium. So my plan is for back here is eventually I'm going to have like a pathway that you can come around here. And then I've even been thinking, we're so close to the street and the cars drive by and you can definitely hear them. I thought it might be fun to do something like a tunnel here or something like that you can kind of walk through. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, but I know I'm going to have some type of pathway over here, over to the willow tree. And then I am going to remove the raised bed because, it's falling apart anyway. You guys can see right here. It's not long for this world, I have to say. But anyway, so editing here, I think this is good. Planning what's next. I have no idea what Monty's going after it, and it's making me nervous. All right, then headed over here to the other side of the willow tree. You can see that I have my beautiful spring statue. I love her. She looks so good right there. And before I put the spring statue there, I actually planted a mangave, and that's the Catch a Wave mangave. It's a pretty big one, and you can see mine has sprouted its bloom, and it was really cool at first. The hummingbirds were all over this bloom stalk. It was really, really fun, but now it's distracting me. It is totally distracting me, and I'm not paying attention to the statue. I'm paying attention to this bloom stalk that's about to fall over. Now, normally for like agaves, when it sprouts a bloom stalk, it tends to die. That means it's dead, and you have to pull it out. And I've been talking to a lot of people about mangaves, and a lot of people just cut their bloom stalks off. I did a kind of a cactus and succulent garden tour a couple weeks ago that you guys will see in August, and he had a lot of mangaves, and he just cut his bloom stalks off. He didn't even worry about it. So that's what I'm going to do with this one today. I'm just going to edit out this bloom stalk. cut it back. I am planning to plant other things around here. I actually am planning to plant plain the blue salvia, which was some of your suggestions. You guys had a really great idea for plain the blue salvia right here. I just have to get it from the garden center. So for now, I'm just going to edit. I'm just going to cut back this mangave so that we can focus on spring and not be looking at this bloom stalk. Much better. She's so pretty. I love her right here. I'm going to go this week and get those plain the blue salvia if I can find them. That'll just be so pretty. So the next I want to work over here in my center island pathway, and I want to adjust my Augusta lavender heliotrope right here. This guy, it's beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful, but it is kind of a beast, and it kind of takes over. You can see it's encroaching on my weeping atlas cedar right there. It's encroaching on my kindly privet back here, and that's just the growth pattern of this Augusta lavender. I didn't plant it all the way back there. It just has really big branches that extend out and then flush out with blooms. It's a really cool plant, but it definitely needs a little bit of space to grow. So I think it looks really pretty right here. And I think I'm just going to kind of mound it up in this area so that the privet has some more room. The weeping atlas cedar has some more room. I think I'm going to take this one branch off the El Nino so it's not on the atlas cedar either, right? Just kind of give everything a little bit more breathing space. Okay, well, I might have done a little bit more editing than I had planned, but it feels like it needed it. So here's my mess right here. I've got to clean up, and you can see Monty is very hot. I'm very hot as well. But you can see I ended up cutting back the Augusta lavender heliotrope way back. And the reason why is I was cutting this one back, and then I found my solar light, my Hoselink solar light that I had put to shine up on the weeping atlas cedar, and then I realized really how far they had grown. This one is kind of growing out that way towards the light. That one is kind of growing out that way towards the privet. I think they just needed to be cut back and possibly even moved, I would say. And I planted them as annuals. I didn't think they were going to get that big, but they are obviously very, very happy in this spot. So I think they definitely needed a cut back, needed a little bit of editing. I'm going to ask Sadie, she didn't want to work today, but I'm going to ask her next time she works to mulch this area, because I definitely think it needs to be mulched. And then maybe get a couple more plants down closer to the pathway, and maybe take out the ones that are so close to the weeping atlas cedar, just kind of giving everything a little bit more breathing room. And it's the same thing as this lantana. This lantana is nuts. It's going nuts. I need to take a couple of these out around the weeping atlas cedar and those rocks right there, just so I can see my beautiful rocks. But I think I'm going to get to that another day, because it is getting hot. We're in the 90s already. We're going to get up to the triple digits today. So I think Monty and I need to go inside, but you guys can see what I did for the editing today. Here, over there, and then the last one over there by the spring statue. So a good day, got a lot of stuff done, much better sleep last night. Thank you all so much for your well wishes for my bad night of sleep yesterday. I had a rough day yesterday, but much better today, and I'm happy with what I've got going on over here in the center island. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.